brought us some source material and we're here to unpack it.
Yep.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into an article focusing on recent updates to the Tesla Model S and the Model X.
That's right. We've got this one source, just this article, and our mission is really to get into the details it presents.
Okay.
What exactly was changed in these, flagship Teslas? What was the reaction? And, well, based on the information in the article, what might the whole thing tell us?
Exactly. So, you've probably seen headlines about Tesla tweaking their higher end models. Let's crack open this article you've shared and see what truly stands out from the source material itself.
Okay, so the article, it gets straight to the point, really. It highlights the main headline. The Model S and Model X got updates, but the internet is apparently, quote, mad about it.
Mad, okay. And the article immediately shows us why, right? Based on the fan reaction it captures from social media. People are reacting negatively because, according to the source, these updated EVs didn't get key technologies seen on the Cybertruck.
Right. The main complaints the article points out are pretty specific. No steer-by-wire system on the updated S or X.
Okay, quick pause there. For someone who might not be deep into EV tech jargon, steer-by-wire, like you see on the Cybertruck, means there's no physical link.
Right, no mechanical connection.
Between the steering wheel and the wheels, it's all electronic, which, can allow for things like variable steering ratios, meaning you might turn the wheel less at low speeds than at high speeds.
Exactly.
And the article says fans were expecting that on the S and X, and, well, they didn't get it.
Precisely. And the source also notes the absence of an 800-volt battery pack.
And why is that a big deal for people?
Well, the article implies it's significant because an 800V architecture is often associated with much faster DC rapid charging speeds.
Okay.
It's a feature that's becoming more common on newer EVs from other makers, and it's part of that newer tech people were, I guess, hoping for.
Got it. So no steer-by-wire, no 800V pack, and according to the source, maybe surprisingly for performance cars, no additional power added either.
Yeah, the article includes some pretty blunt quotes from users expressing disappointment. One is quoted saying, "No steer-by-wire, no 800V, no additional power. You're falling behind, guys."
Ouch.
Ouch is right. Yeah.
And another user, quoted directly, wasn't impressed by this refresh and advises Tesla to go look at what Rivian, Lucid, Escalade IQ, and EV9 are doing and copy that. People want real three-row SUVs with more range and tech, and this isn't that. So the article really emphasizes that initial negative reaction based on what wasn't updated.
But despite that focus on what's missing, the article does list specific updates that were made. So let's maybe dive into what the source says you actually get.
Okay, yeah. Beyond the missing tech, what did the article find was added? Let's start with how it drives and sounds.
Right. The source mentions improvements there. Both vehicles supposedly offer a smoother ride now.
Smoother? How?
Thanks to new bushings and a tweaked suspension design.
And for clarity, bushings are basically those little rubbery cushions that absorb vibrations between parts, right?
Yeah.
And tweaking the suspension design means adjusting the geometry or components that manage how the car handles bumps. So these are updates aimed directly at ride comfort.
Precisely. And the article adds that the interior should be quieter.
Quieter?
Yeah, due to less wind and road noise, along with a more effective active noise cancellation system.
Quieter cabin and a smoother ride, those sound like pretty solid comfort upgrades that the article points out. What about inside the car? Any changes there?
The source mentions a change to the interior lighting. There's now multicolor ambient lighting.
Oh, okay. Where?
Added across the dashboard, both sides of the center console, and in the front and rear doors.
And the article clarifies that even the little lights, like the LED footwell lights and the lights in the door pockets, which were previously just white, can now be changed to different colors. Sort of a subtle way to customize the interior feel, according to the source.
Definitely. Then looking at the outside, the article lists a few exterior changes. Adaptive driving beams are now an option.
Adaptive driving beams? So the article is saying these headlights can automatically adjust their pattern, like to avoid dazzling other drivers, but still give you max visibility.
Exactly. Around corners or at night.
Yeah.
A practical safety and visibility upgrade, yeah.
Makes sense. What else on the outside?
Right. The source also notes new wheel designs, subtle tweaks to the exterior shape for improved aerodynamics.
Wow, okay.
And a new exterior paint color called Frost Blue. Plus, a really practical addition mentioned is a front bumper camera that comes with its own dedicated washer for better visibility in messy conditions.
That camera washer sounds like something people have probably been asking for. Good practical touch. And specifically for the Model X. Anything just for that.
The article points out two smaller, kind of functional updates for the Model X.
Okay.
A slight increase in cargo space, adding about 2.5 cubic feet for a total of 94.5 cubic feet. And slightly more room for third row passengers. Little tweaks.
Okay, now let's get into the crucial figures the article presents. This is often where the rubber meets the road. The price, range, and weight changes.
First, the price. The source states pretty clearly that all versions, S and updated, are now $5,000 more expensive than the models they replace.
A $5,000 jump across the board. That's a significant increase on top of the updates we just discussed. Looking at the Model S numbers specifically, what did the article show there?
The base AWD Model S is listed at $86,630, and the range is stated as 410 miles.
Okay. And the Model S Plaid, the fast one.
The article puts the Plaid price at $101,630. Interestingly, the range went up slightly from 348 miles to 368 miles, according to the source.
Up slightly. But here's where the article points out a really notable change for the Plaid, right? That headline-grabbing top speed figure.
Yeah. It's now listed as 149 mile per hour.
Which is a significant drop from the previous 200 mile per hour. Did the article offer any reason for that change? Why lower the top speed?
The source doesn't explicitly state the why. But, this drop in top speed alongside the increase in range and weight, it might suggest a shift in tuning or focus.
Like maybe prioritizing efficiency, or maybe adapting to changes needed by the updated hardware, like those suspension tweaks you mentioned.
Could be. It's definitely a trade-off the article highlights just by presenting the numbers.
Fascinating. And what about the weight for the S?
The Model S Plaid gained a bit, 26 pounds, or 11.7 kilograms. The AWD version stayed roughly the same weight, according to the source.
Okay, let's switch gears to the Model X numbers from the article, the bigger SUV.
Right. The base AWD Model X starts at $91,630. Its range increased significantly, though, offers up to 352 miles, which the article notes is 38 miles more than before.
That's a decent bump. And the Model X Plaid?
Price is $106,630, and its range also went up to 335 miles, which is 21 miles more than the outgoing model. Its top speed remained the same as before, unlike the S Plaid.
So both Model X versions got a good range boost, but the Model X Plaid saw a considerable weight increase, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, the article reports it's now 186 pounds heavier. That's 83 kilograms, weighing in at 5,435 pounds, or 2,465 kilograms.
Wow, nearly 200 pounds heavier.
Yeah, the Model X AWD only gained a negligible 4 pounds, 1.8 kilograms. So the Plaid X really packed on some weight.
Another notable change the article mentions is related to the steering wheel choice, that unique steering wheel.
Yes, the controversial yoke steering wheel. The source notes it was previously the default option, right, for both the Model S and Model X.
And now, what's the deal, according to the article?
According to the article, the yoke has been removed entirely from the base versions of both models.
Really? Gone.
Gone as standard. If you want it, you have to purchase it as a $1,000 option. And the article specifies it's only available on the higher performance Plaid trims.
So if you wanted the yoke on a standard S or X, you're out of luck unless you upgrade to the Plaid and pay extra for the yoke itself. That's a big shift from it being the default.
Definitely. And, given the initial reaction, the article describes that disappointment about missing Cybertruck tech and the relatively minor nature of some updates, the source offers some context. It tries to explain why Tesla might have approached this refresh the way they did, even for their flagships.
What does the article suggest is the main reason behind this, maybe less ambitious refresh?
It states quite directly that sales of the Model S and Model X have, and I'm quoting here, cratered in recent years.
Cratered? That's a strong word. And the article backs this up with how Tesla reports their sales now, grouping them.
Right. They group them into an other models category in their delivery reports. The source provides the numbers from last year. That other models category, which includes Cybertruck and Semi alongside the S and X, totaled 85,133 units globally.
85,000 for all those models combined. And how does that compare to the rest of the lineup, like the 3 and Y?
Yeah, the article sharply contrasts that number with the combined deliveries of just the Model 3 and Model Y last year, a massive 1.4 million units globally.
Wow, okay. 85,000 versus 1.4 million, that difference is, well, it's staggering.
And the source uses this comparison to suggest it's, quote, easy to see why Tesla hasn't put more effort into this refresh. When you look at the low sales volume of the S and X compared to their mass market models.
Right. So looking back at everything this article presented, we have these, let's call them relatively minor updates focusing on comfort, lighting, some subtle exterior tweaks, alongside price increases across the board, weight gains, and even that reduced top speed for the Model S Plaid.
Yeah.
All while lacking newer tech seen on the Cybertruck or maybe some competitor EVs. And all this is happening against the backdrop the article highlights significantly lower sales for these once dominant flagship models compared to the rest of Tesla's lineup.
It really makes you consider the point the article implies, doesn't it? How much does the market demand and, well, the actual sales performance of a vehicle truly dictate the level of engineering effort a manufacturer will put into updating it?
Even for models that are supposed to be their flagships, showcasing their peak capabilities.
Exactly.
And what does that prioritization, seemingly based on sales volume, mean for maintaining a truly cutting edge premium offering at the very top of the lineup? It's certainly something to think about as you process this deep dive.